different, very strange, and something was not right in this sound. It was too strong, too violent. It almost felt like a shock
Breaking
wave.
news. If it bleeds, it leads. In your news today.
You are now tuned in to Dirty Laundry Media.
Stand by.
The door, well, first we heard a crash of lightning. I thought it was lightning.
Fire.
And it went on for 30 seconds, I'd say at least.
Fire.
And it was as loud as you could ever, the loudest thing I've ever heard. Now I know what a building collapsing sounds like. Now I know what a building collapsing sounds like. And we went out on our balcony, and Surfside police were already there, and we said, what should we do? And they said, go back inside. We don't know what's going on.
Fire.
So yeah, thanks again for tuning in, Dirty Laundry family. Really quickly, just to follow up the previous video concerning that condo collapse in Miami, Surfside. My comments earlier about it looking like a controlled demolition. You know, as you can see in the video that I juxtaposed, along with some of the footage from one of the survivors, if you would, one of the residents of the building. The gentleman lived on the side that did not collapse. He described the sound as if it was a hit of lightning lasting about 30 seconds. I posted some footage, as you can see, on loop in the background of a controlled demolition. You heard the audio prior to the detonation. There were some loud booms of explosives going off, and then you can see the building, you know, in an orderly collapse. Juxtaposed against the footage from the Surfside building, it looks pretty similar. Would you say not? Let me know what you think. Hop down in the comment section. But there are several things that are curious and very suspicious about this supposed building collapse, in addition to the visual that you see. Witnesses stated again that they heard what sounded like a hit of thunder that lasted about 30 seconds. And as you see from the footage I posted, prior to a building being imploded, you usually will hear explosives going off prior to the detonation. And I'm going to play this quick clip of one of the witnesses, because what happens is, and what this looks like is a failed implosion, because only part of the building actually collapsed. And what we may hear in the coming hours, because what happens when a demolition isn't complete, a partial failure of an attempted implosion, the structure is going to be unstable. It may tilt at a dangerous angle. Part of the building may still be filled with undetonated but still primed explosives. And that's going to make it difficult for workers to actually approach safely and to commence any search and rescue operations. But another thing comes from air overpressure that occurs during the implosion. If the sky is clear, the shock wave of energy and sound will travel upward and disperse. But if cloud coverage is low, the shock wave can travel outwards. This will cause windows to break and make damage surrounding buildings. As you can see in the footage, the other part of the building didn't collapse, but it did take severe damage. And shortly after the explosion or collapse, as you can see if you check on live footage now, it's raining in the area, which is also impeding search and rescue operations. So as I stated, there's a shock wave that may develop. If the sky is clear, the shock wave will move up and disperse. But if cloud coverage is low, as was most likely the case in this scenario, the shock wave will travel outwards. And let me pull up this clip really quickly. This is what this lady had to say. One moment.
This rumbling was very different, very strange, and something was not right in this sound. It was too strong, too violent. It almost felt like a shock wave.
I walked down the hallway and
So, again, this was a comment made by a person who was actually on the scene during the explosion, and she described the sound and the feeling as that of a shock wave. So, you know, the shock wave is like a water hose. If you put your hand in front of a water hose, as the water comes out, it fans to all sides. And in this case, when cloud coverage is below 1,200 feet, it reacts like the hand in front of the hose. The wave from the shock will fan out instead of up toward the sky. So these are just some of the things that stand out to me. People are also commenting that they can see the flashes of explosives being detonated prior to the building collapse. So again, drop down in the comment section, let me know what you think. And again, this is Bill Money signing off for Dirty Laundry Media. I'll see you on the other side.